Let's talk about this episode. Oh my gosh. For starters, I need to immediately talk about that art and animation, but especially the art and the scenes where Naruto, Sasuke, and the Sage of Six Paths are talking. Those scenes usually, whenever Naruto's in his mind talking to the QB with that scenery or whatever, always look good usually, but they just put in work to make it look 10 times better than normal. I mean, even the Sage's old ass, which he kind of looked a little bit like, ugh, I don't want to look at that motherfucker. Even he looked fucking good in that art. Like, they just went to town with this one because they knew it's a very important scene. I mean, the dialogue speaks for itself. A lot of things that they were talking about and kind of going more into the whole thing of how Madara and Hashirama, like, Madara throughout this episode, between everything that happened with the action, but just finding out yet again that he single-handedly went to break the cycle himself without even knowing it about Asha and Indra. When he was about to die, he was like, nah, fuck that shit, and basically went from being a reincarnate of one of the kids to being the father. Like, that's how godlike that motherfucker is. He was like, nah, fuck this shit, I'm breaking the cycle my damn self. Like, Madara Uchiha for the win. And you notice the way it was done with, and of course this was in the original source material as well, we see everything that Naruto has to say. We know everything that Naruto has to say at the end of the day. For the most part, he wants to protect his friends. He's not that bright, but he ultimately knows the right thing that he wants to do. With Sasuke's side, we don't really get to see what his answer is. So Kishimoto yet again keeping the vagueness, keeping us kind of in the dark about what Sasuke wants to do, where he's at right now. And I think that's been par for the course for the most part with Sasuke's character, and just where he's been at is always just like this gray area where we just don't necessarily know exactly what he's, approaching or what he's attempting and whatnot. I mean, he's been revived in this episode, and, him and Naruto are back up and whatnot, but we didn't really get to hear his answer. So keeping it a little bit mysterious and vague. I mean, yet again, I think one of the things that makes it look a little less weird and a little bit more like, oh, it makes sense why Naruto and Sasuke has had this bond, so to speak, and why Naruto's been, like, going after him this entire time, is because of some of this, reincarnation stuff from him being Ashura and him being Indra. I think it was just, in a way, sort of destined. And one of the interesting things that I want to note is for the people that were saying, and again, this goes back to the manga stuff, and I hate to tread over this territory because we've been here, done that, but Destiny was pointing for Indra to win. And what people don't understand is that Naruto and the Sage of Six Paths are trying to overcome Destiny. All that the frog predicted was there's this blue-eyed, blonde-haired guy that's going to play with the animals, and, he's going to have this fight with this guy with some crazy eyes and whatnot. But Destiny is seemingly pointing towards Indra winning. So it's not that Naruto was destined for all this because he had Ashura. It's that he's trying to change Destiny from it being that Indra, the Madara way, wins, and turn it into what he sees and what the Sage of Six Paths wants. And, I mean, you could argue it's a little bit silly at this particular point for the Sage to be like, yeah, Sasuke, I'm going to give you some powers too. Knowing that Sasuke isn't the most level-headed, but at the end of the day, he's trying to learn from history and from his mistakes. In the past, he was like, I'm giving it all to Ashura, I'm not giving shit to Indra, and look how things have turned out. So, I guess he's trying to change the way he's done things in the past, but still, I mean, them Uchihas, bruh. And then, Night Guy versus Madara Uchiha. Oh my gosh, that fucking, just like, the little flashback sequence that they put in there was perfect too. A lot of people like to complain about the flashbacks and whatnot, but seeing little Might Guy and little Kakashi and how they first met and showcasing that Might Guy indeed surpassed Kakashi. He is actually, when he uses these gates and whatnot, the 8 gates, he surpassed him. Fucking insane shit. Like, it just went perfectly. And while the art dropped a little bit after the whole Sage of Six Paths scene or whatever, we went back to that, still the impact, the animation was fucking fluid as fuck. And just like, I mean, one of the biggest things you gotta note, and this builds up not only Madara as a fucking character and just showing what type of person he is, he's a realist at the end of the day. Well, to an extent, I mean, he wanna put everybody in a fake dream, but he's a realist in a sense of like, I acknowledge your strength. When he told my guy, you are strong, you're the strongest taijutsu person ever, and I'm Madara Uchiha, like if he's the fucking authority on this shit, yeah, you're strong, motherfucker. So that just builds up everything of what the 8 Gates has been hyped up to be. And in my opinion, the 8 Gates lived up to everything that is said and more. I mean, you're fighting the god among gods right there, and you're kicking ass. And Madara's there. Like, he lost, like, I don't really remember, and forgive me if I'm mistaken, but I don't remember, because, Shippuden being filler and shit like that, him being able to regenerate and shit like that, so that kind of threw me for a little bit of a loop. Again, it might have happened and I just don't remember, or where he got these abilities from. Then again, he is the Ten Tails, so it is what it is. He got the power of the Sage and whatnot, but that threw me off a little bit. But, I mean, fuck, my guy looking like molten lava there, all fucked up and shit. Like, that whole thing was insane. Honestly, the only thing that stopped this episode from being like 10 out of 10, 11 out of 10 type of shit is, granted, the anime did a little bit of a better explanation of showcasing exactly what Naruto did, because in the manga, everyone's like, so this motherfucker got the magic touch? How the fuck he did that shit? You know, basically revitalizing Guy, but the anime showed a little bit of a better presentation of it, that basically his chakra was going out, and Naruto helped to give him some chakra. Now, that doesn't mean that Guy's gonna get up and be 100%. I mean, look at his fucking body, and we've seen his bones breaking left and right, his rib cage and everything, so I would argue, like, I still, even though we got a better explanation, and yeah, okay, it makes a little bit more sense what Naruto did, it's still kind of a little bit like, but it makes a little bit more sense. I still think Guy should have died, just because it would have been 10 times more impactful. He went out, and ultimately, he did what he set out to do, and that's fuck up Madara. He didn't defeat him, because Madara's too fucking OP, but he did what he wanted to do, and ultimately, he gave a good fight. So, I still say that I think my guy should have died. I didn't want him to die, and in a way, like, the fan in me is like, yay, my guy's still alive. But if he was going to go out anyway, this should have been the time. So that's really the only complaint I would have with the episode. And it's from the original source material as well. I just think personally this was the time for him to go. And if I was Guy, because, you know, when he gets out of this, if he, you know, survives and whatnot, he's going to be all fucked up. He's going to be like in a full body cast for the rest of his life type of shit. Wouldn't you be more bitter about that, especially the type of guy that my guy is? Like, hey, you know, youth and this and that and the third, and you're going to be basically handicapped for the rest of your life. That would turn me into an Obito, but it won't be because you let Rin die. It's because you didn't let me die, motherfucker. But aside from that, absolutely excellent episode. I mean, granted, that's source material content that I still have a problem with, but everything else, the art, the animation, the fight sequence, everything is just like, it's hard for me to even downgrade much from my original like intention of 10 to 11 just because of that one problem where in the end my guy should have kind of died. So ultimately still a great episode. Honestly, I can't really argue too much aside from that point that it was fucking phenomenal. The music hit everywhere and it was just like Naruto and Sasuke are back in the scene. I'm really disappointed that next week is going to be a filler episode. Come on, what are you doing, period? Stop. But yeah, fucking insane episode. I mean, 9 to a 9.5. I want to say 9.5. Fuck it. I mean, my problem with the source material, and I guess the anime did a better job of presenting it again, but I don't know. Let me know what you thought of the episode. Do you think my guy should have died? What do you think about everything? The speech with the Sage of Six Paths, the fight, Night Guy versus Madara Uchiha. What did you think about that? Do you think Madara should have died from that? Do you think that it was kind of BS of him like regenerating half his body and shit like that? And your overall thoughts of this episode? Fucking phenomenal aside from one part, from my opinion. But that's all I have for this review. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you haven't subscribed, if you could do so as well, that'd be amazing. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day. My fucking guy, man. You the man, bro. You the man.